Welcome everybody to the video in which I try to save Ubisoft from another disaster. Sources say a new Splinter Cell has been green-lit by Ubisoft, so you guys that were whining and complaining about a new Splinter Cell, you guys are going to get it. They're supposed to announce it next year or something. Who knows when this thing's coming, but anyway, it's in early development. It's been confirmed. This is coming right after all the backlash from Frontline. Ghost Recon Frontline was recently announced as well, and that just got disliked. The trailer got disliked like crazy. Not only that, but Ubisoft has had a lot of L's recently. Rainbow Six Quarantine, that looks like a game nobody's wanting. X Defiant, another Tom Clancy game, looks like nobody wants. Ghost Recon Frontline, I think looks decent, but a lot of people don't think so. I don't think a lot of these Tom Clancy fans really know what they want, but I know what I want out here, and I'm gonna get to exactly what I think they need to do to release a successful Splinter Cell game that's going to have the longevity similar to, if not more so, than a Rainbow Six Siege. I think that was really Ubisoft's last W. Rainbow Six Siege is showing the way there. See, this is what happens. You get a couple people saying, you know, we haven't had a Splinter Cell since Blacklist on the 360. You know what? I would like another Splinter Cell. Yeah, Splinter Cell, that'd be cool, man. Remember when Tom Clancy games were fun? And so a couple people start chanting Splinter Cell, and then other people are like, oh, that sounds fun. Yeah, I remember those games. Splinter Cell, not really putting a whole lot of thought into it. He just wants something to chant Splinter Cell, and then so many people join in and start chanting it that the company thinks, you know what, man, we might, have to make this. They need to stay true to their vision and not just give in to the angry mob all the time. I'm not saying that's what they're doing, but it's a weird coincidence that right after backlash after backlash, you get them digging into something that people have been asking for. I don't know the exact numbers, the vocal minority. So if they're gonna make a new Splinter Cell, this is how I think they need to do it. It's got to be a FPS PvP focused stealth game. That's right. So Splinter Cell traditionally has always been third person. It started in the PS2 era and the original Xbox era. Games back then were third person. There wasn't a whole lot of PvP going on in the PS2 era because there wasn't internet connection and not a whole lot of PvP going on over the internet like that. So you could get away with releasing a lot of third person games, and that's what people like. I might as well see my character. If I'm not being competitive, it can be in third person, because a first person game is much better. When you're in third person view, you can see around the corner and get an edge on your opponent who's coming down the hallway. If you're standing behind the wall, you can see him, but he can't see you. Third person see is not great for competitive fairness, and it's not as immersive as well. So third person games started taking a backseat as you got players on Xbox Live playing together. That's why Halo was so popular, I think, because that was a first person competitive game with Halo 2 especially. I think for Splinter Cell to really make a big impact, it's got to have a decent PvP. It's got to have good PvP. I think the best way to do that is to make it first person. Now, I think you can still have all the ingredients that made a third person Splinter Cell in a first person Splinter Cell. Think Mirror's Edge with a silenced pistol, shimmying up a pipe and hanging from your legs, from the ceiling in the dark to shoot your opponents. You can do all that in first person. You could even do a cover mechanic in first person. Now let's think outside the box a little bit, do something different. That's another thing I can't stress enough, is this Splinter Cell has got to be like a reboot. It's got to be fresh, it's got to be new. We got to see new things. Think again, Rainbow Six Siege, it was doing fresh things we never seen before, but fans were still happy because it was fresh and new and a great game. So I would like to see a first person cover mechanic where you can actually shimmy across the wall, conceal yourself in the shadows, hug that wall. The camera would be looking kind of to the right, if you can envision this in first person, to look down the hall there. You can do that in first person, like a cool little peek mechanic for when you're sneaking around doing stealth in Splinter Cell. It'd be fresh, it'd be fun, it'd be something we've never really seen before. When they brought Rainbow Six back with Rainbow Six Siege, they scrapped the third person, made it first person, super competitive PvP, and that worked, man. It's got longevity, it's got a competitive scene and everything else like that, and I think Splinter Cell could have something similar. In recent history, Ghost Recon hasn't been doing too good neither with Breakpoint, and see, when you try to do the same formula over and over, and over again. It gets old, it gets tired, fans get sick of it, they want something different. You know, it doesn't keep up with the times of today's multiplayer, what people tend to gravitate towards these days. And you had to fight the AI because you didn't have the capability of having a PvP network like that. So that was the best you had. Now that times are evolving, these games just fit well with a PvP environment. So the best way to do that is to go first person. Let's keep it grounded in reality. You got night vision and smoke and silenced pistols and this and that, you know, some laser obstacles and whatnot, but all grounded in super realistic, gritty, focus on stealth tactics. And I'm envisioning like a 4v4 game mode. You got 4 Sam Fisher type characters with their night vision, their silencers, sneaking around, going through air vents, this and that, and then you got your mercenaries that the spies are trying to take out or complete the objectives. Say, you know, you got these like guards basically guarding, let's say, a lab or something, and spy characters that got to go and infiltrate the base and get the intel and this and that. They got to go in sneaking around. You got 4 players working as a team to do those missions, and then you got your defenders, the mercenaries, and they got like automatic rifles. They can set up defenses, non-silenced weapons, so the Sam Fishers know where the shots are coming from. And that's how you kind of, you know, you get the balance of stealth, sneaky guys versus regular mercenaries, and kind of borrow from one another. Sure, the mercenaries can be sneaky too if they want to use some stealth. The last thing you want to do is retread the tracks that you've already laid down and do the same thing over and over again. That's what's going to make people fall off. And your release info about Rainbow Six Quarantine, just kind of the same old. You're taking the Rainbow Six Siege game and just kind of putting in some aliens. Doesn't make much sense. Then you got X-Defiance, or X-Defiant, whatever, which is basically just a run-of-the-mill arena shooter with all the Tom Clancy characters all thrown in together like it's a goddamn blender, and you're just blending up a nasty mess that you're going to try to force-feed people. They can't afford to have another L, I don't think. Everyone's looking at Ubisoft underneath a microscope right now with the sexual assault allegations and all these games that people aren't feeling, man. You guys are really seeming lost out there. A lot of the fans even seem lost. They don't really know what they want. This is a good idea here if you guys come out with this. Again, FPS, PvP, focused stealth. Imagine Mirror's Edge, movement, traversal, with all the typical Sam Fisher moves thrown in. Like I said, shimmying up the poles and hanging upside down and shooting your silenced pistol and all that. FPS, wall cover, peak mechanic, the whole thing. Make it fun to sneak around. Take your lessons learned from Rainbow Six Siege. Do something new, fresh, different. Don't go back to the blacklist formula. Make your PvP focus on realism in the stealth tactics. It's got to be a stealth game. This can't just be another shooter of some sort. I'm thinking 4v4 game mode, 4 Sam Fisher type dudes versus 4 just, you know, regular guard type soldier characters or whatever. I think another cool game mode might be a 1v4, 1 Sam Fisher type dude versus 4 mercenaries or whatever, 4 soldier classes. Then you'd really feel like you do with some of those older Splinter Cell games where you're just a one dude versus a whole army of guys, but you got to be sneaky and make the stealth work for you, weaving in and out of these levels and stuff like that. Find that good balance like you did with the attackers and defenders of Rainbow Six, but make that work with your silenced pistol guys, your stealth guys versus your automatic rifle wielding defenders. That's a recipe for success. Yves Guillemot, the head CEO dude, boss man over there at Ubisoft, said they're not going to make another Splinter Cell unless they do something different. They tried BR, doing a mobile Splinter Cell. Those didn't seem to work out too well. I think this would really hit here. I would enjoy playing this for sure, man. So, and if you guys got any other ideas, let me know in the comments below. Splinter Cell, 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 Splinter Splinter Cell, 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 Splinter Cell. And until next time, this has been Rusty Pfluger, over and out.